Let's go.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the RedBud National 450 press conference. He's going to go 1-1 on the day, the number 4, and now current points leader on the Red Bull KTM, Chase Sexton, in second place with 4-2 finishes. The number 7 on the Red Bull KTM, Aaron Plessinger, and a third place finish with 2 and fourth place finishes, the 96 on the factory Honda HRC, Hunter Lawrence. Let's start with you, Chase Sexton. Independence Day weekend. You get the red background number plate. You go 1-1. Not much to say about this weekend. Incredible weekend, but go through the feelings, the process of it was just a big one all around.
Yeah. To be honest, I had a lot of pressure, I feel like, coming into this weekend for some reason. I don't know, just because I had never won here. And I had a really good week of riding. Felt really good. And I feel like I made a step forward. And I was confident coming in, but you never know when you go racing, and these guys are really good. So really special. I had chills on the podium. That's the best RedBud crowd I've seen. I've been coming here since I was probably 6 years old. And it's really special. I don't really have any words, honestly. On the podium, I felt like a bit of an idiot. I was up there just looking at the crowd and not saying anything. So, this one's special. It was, like I said, a lot of pressure to win today. I feel like the crowd was obviously on my side, but I wanted to perform for them.
AP, a great weekend for you, going 4-2. It seems like when the pressure's on, you really find a way to rise to the top. You said there were some changes on the bike, but not that drastic, and you just sort of came in feeling comfortable. Am I right on that assumption?
Yeah, for sure. It was a little bit of a rough week, but we made it through, and I've been comfy on my race bike pretty much since Hangtown, and I just came in feeling really, really comfy, and we got that start in the first one, and I was feeling really good, and then tightened up in the middle, let Chase and Justin Cooper get by me, and then got back on it towards the end of it. And then second moto, I knew I had to get by. I think I was in fourth. I knew I had to get up to second if I wanted any chance to be on the podium. And that's what I did. I charged forward, and after I got into second, it was kind of like I put it on cruise control, and then I had to pick it back up because Hunter and Anderson were really, really coming, and so that's what I did, and second overall, it's unreal, and at RedBud after the 4th of July, it's surreal.
Hunter, final podium. Your RedBud intimidated me. It was one of the best I heard all weekend. It was a good. I'm like, man, how does he keep going? I would have struggled with that. But going back to Moto number 1, you have to deal with lappers. But you guys had like 6 or 7 in a row. Both of you tried to get by them, and it was like dodging mines. Tell about getting by those lappers, the problems they gave you.
Yeah, I'm glad my RedBud intimidated you because I had a little more in the tank too, so might save it for next year. The lappers were something else. I think I'd get it held up a bit, and then Chase would get held up a bit, and I even seen some flaggers like looking and holding the flag, and it's almost like they just gave up on waving it at one point, and I was like, just wave the freaking thing. Like, what are you doing? So that was a little bit lame. I thought the blue flag could have been used a little more aggressively, but I knew coming in it'd be tough to beat Changer at his home race. Obviously, extra little fuel for the fire, and I knew he'd be on it. And I was close in the first one until I was upside down. So thankful to not be hurt and stuff. And it just happened so fast. But that's the nature of the beast.
You got caught by that kicker and went down. But guys, all 3 of you, how bad were the braking bumps going down some of those? It looked like a rented mule you were getting kicked by.
That's a good description.
I've never rented one, but
the downhills today, I feel like for the 250 class, they groomed them, and then obviously left them rough for us. So both moves, I feel like they were flat for the 250 class. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. And then I get out there and they're massive. So first moto, I was a little bit I felt like I was kind of bulldogging the track and not riding it great, but also like Hunter, it was really hard to get in a flow when you were passing people 24/7 lap traffic. So I don't know why it felt worse today, but it was. And second moto, I started just using the bumps to my advantage and hopping them. I felt like the track was a little bit more like a supercross track second moto, which was nice. And I don't know, the bumps are gnarly. This one always gets really big bumps coming down the hills when they get that sand. So yeah.
Late in Moto number 2, we were seeing 210, 211 lap times, and you came up with a 207. Was that just basically a perfect lap, or did you find something on that lap?
I don't think I ran a 207 late, but it was like a 209 or 208 or something like that. I don't know. I honestly, I got in a good flow and found some good lines, and it was coming easier to me than the first moto. So I honestly was just having a lot of fun riding. That's really the bottom line.
He was getting scared because I was running a little bit faster lap times. He didn't want me to smell the blood.
Brett Smith from We Went Fast. I've heard the vibes at RedBud, like we want to win this one. Is this for Chase? I'll let you answer this one since you did win. Is this kind of becoming like the Daytona of motocross, or in Anaheim, like that's on my list, I got to win that one? Is that the vibes that we have here?
I mean, for me, it's just special because it is my home race. I would say that this is one of the more special races out of the series. It gets the best turnouts, and it's 4th of July weekend. So the vibes are always good, and the fans are crazy. So it is a special race, I feel like, for everybody. But for me specifically, it's special because I grew up racing here a lot. And like I said, I never had good results here. So this year I was like, man, I gotta make something happen. And it was cool.
And one question for Hunter. Your average first lap position was 2.6 coming into this race, top of the class. It's going to take a hit after this weekend, after the second moto. Do you regret the tire choice?
Yeah. Bummed to see the stat go down. That one was really important, and I cared a lot about it. Yeah. No, obviously hindsight's a beautiful thing, and but you never line up on the gate, and when it's time to go and the helmet goes on, you never go, oh crap, I wish I did this, because you get up there and you sack up and you believe in yourself and you go to execute. So yeah, we'll be next year more info. Yeah.
Austin Huff, South Bend Tribune. Chase, you had a pretty big lead there in the Moto 2. I know Aaron was on hot on your heels there for a second, but when does it maybe start hitting you that you're going to win this thing overall? And did you take a couple minutes in the final couple laps to kind of really let it sink in, I guess, that you were going to win this thing?
Honestly, the fans were pretty consistent the whole race for me. I heard them run the whole track, and it honestly kept me more focused, which was nice. And I had Aaron behind me, so I was just trying to click off laps. And I ran the paddle second moto, and there's a few spots on the track that were getting a little hairy, just because it was getting down to the base. So I was trying to just be mindful of that and not make a big mistake. So I was pretty locked in. But then the last lap over like the launch pad section before you go to the leap, I looked over at the fans, and the leap was cool in the last lap. I wanted to get a clear track so I could be able to jump it and not have a lapper in front of me. So that was cool. And yeah, I got sprayed by my home track. The guy that owns it does the water truck here, and he sprayed me after the finish line, which was really cool and special. And he told me on Thursday if I went 1-1, he'd spray me. So he held that up.
And you almost dropped the trophy too in the post-podium celebration. Were you nervous there that it almost fell out of your hand?
No, I just had about 7 things in my hands, so I didn't really know how to hold it.
And Aaron, you get on the stage there at the podium, and you're chugging a Red Bull, and it just feels like America. You know what I mean? Like, just where does that come from? I guess you're like, what? Is just the crowd giving you that energy? Like, that was pretty fun visual there at the podium.
I love everything about this race, the vibe it brings, the way the fans act, how many people are out there cheering, and just this race in general. It brings a different aura, and it is unbelievable. And I mean, it's 2 days after the 4th of July, and people still got that patriotism, man. They're celebrating America's birthday, and I love everything about that. But now that's just me. When I get up there, I feed off of that energy. I feed off of what the fans are giving me, and they were giving me a lot, so I was trying to return the favor.
Mitch Kendroth, Racer X. Chase, you obviously raced here growing up. You came here a lot. You know, looking back, I'm sure this is a really cool day. If your younger self could have seen this day. But real quick, so obviously it feels like you've been changing a lot between the motos. You guys nailed the start or the moto from the first, like from the get-go, from the beginning of the day. You know, how was that helpful to just get rolling with it? You know, guys had the right choice. You just, instead of kind of tinkering with stuff a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't make too many bike changes today. I was trying to keep it to the minimal side, but made a few. I don't know what it is. My first moto was better this weekend, but still not great. I'm still struggling a little bit just to get going and feel my normal self, but it was better. And then second moto, I didn't necessarily love everything about the bike, but I was able to it actually made me ride it better, which was kind of cool. And I don't know. I didn't make many changes today, which was nice, but I still need to work on some stuff, and I need to work on my starts because, like they said, Hunter is killing us in the first lap stat, so trying to make that better.
Yeah, and then obviously when you're in the lead, it's kind of tough because you don't want to pick new lines that you haven't taken, I'm sure, at times, but there's lappers you're navigating through and everything. I think coming down the starting straight, coming into the first turn, you had a good line like around all those braking bumps. Was that a line you had seen in the first moto, or was that something you saw develop on the sight lap, or just kind of, you know, it seemed like everybody was hitting these huge braking bumps and you kind of just seemed like you were going right around them? Yeah,
I mean, after the finish line, I was kind of making bumps, like I said, I was jumping them, so I wasn't getting that big kick into the turn. And then before the mechanics area, I was just going way wide, and I just found that, honestly, I just went a little wide one lap, and I was like, oh, that line's pretty good. So, and it does help with the loppers. You do have to change your line, and sometimes you do it for the better, and sometimes it's for the worse. So, I was lucky to find some decent ones out there.
And then Hunter, obviously we've seen you're kind of like that middleman. When things go well, you don't get too high. When things go low, you don't get too bad. You know, how are you managing this with, you know, you have the crash and you're leading, you have the crash, and just how are you managing everything? And I guess, how do you keep your cool? And I know you've talked about pressure, and this isn't really true pressure to you, but just talk about how you keep that cool and how you just manage through everything.
Man, I don't know. I've been on the highs and been on the lows, been on the emotional ride, and it's just, it doesn't serve you well as an athlete. So, just self-evaluate everything, okay? You head down, bum up, you go for a good start, okay? You get around the first turn first, okay, this is the plan. Second moto, you don't get around the corner too great, and then you're like, all right, this is the game plan. So it's just kind of always adapting to whatever situation you put in, you know? And at the end of the day, like, I just do my best, and if it's good enough, then sweet. But if it's not, we just keep working, and you know, hopefully we'll get there.
And then last one real quick. Your Australian Motocross Nations team was actually announced. You've been racing with Kyle here now for 2 weeks. Can you talk about that a little bit and just kind of your relationship with him and what to expect for you guys this year?
Yeah, it's awesome. He rode really good. I had to pass him in the second moto, which was cool. I'm like, yeah, go you good thing, you know? Like, get up there, get some laps under your belt. This is unreal. We're already talking about him coming over to the farm after, you know, he's leading the Australian MX1 series. So as soon as that's done, we're like, hey, you got your flights booked, mate? Come over. Like, let's get you on the 250 and get to training. You know, we'd love to, win this thing. I think we have a really good team. Obviously, America's going to have a pretty not too bad team, the way it's looking. So, yeah, France will obviously be strong. Holland and Belgium will be really strong. Dude, it's exciting. I think that's like, this one's an icon race. I think Nations is one of the other like races we look forward to. At least I know there's no money in it or anything. Like, there's no bonuses and stuff, which is whatever. But it's just like such a pride for your country, the patriotism and stuff. Like this race, you know, it's just epic. You know, it's so badass.
And then for you guys, the KTM guys, have you been approached at all about Motocross Nations, or kind of where are we at with it?
I haven't heard nothing yet, but we'll see after this race, I guess.
I haven't heard anything, actually, which I'm kind of surprised. I train every day with Tom Vial, and we have a little bit of like a like a rivalry going into this one. He's won one, I got one, and so we'll see. I don't know. I hope I obviously get picked to go, and I would love to go. That track looks really cool. So we'll see. There's going to be a lot of competition. Australia, obviously, really good. And like I said, there's so many other teams that are really strong. Holland strong. And we're going to have our work cut out for us.
I mean, if you boys want to have a couple of weeks off, or you don't have to come if you don't want to. We won't be mad.
Jim Kimball with Motocross Action for Aaron Plessinger, the mayor of RedBud. What went on in the first moto? I saw you like looking back like at your sprocket or chain, or then after the moto ended, I saw you actually get off your bike and kind of kick at it or something.
Oh, I thought I had a flat tire. Yeah, I thought I had a flat tire because I cased the leap pretty good one lap and slammed my face off the bars. And, yeah, I thought for a split second that I blew my wheel out. And then once I kept going, I knew it wasn't blown out. So I thought I had a flat tire, and I was just slipping, sliding everywhere. But it was all good. So that second half of the moto, I was dialed in.
And then for Chase Sexton, Chase, I think that Moto 2 at Hangtown was epic and amazing to see you come from last. With that said, how does going 1-1 at RedBud, your home track, compare to that?
This one for me is better. Just to race, like I said, in front of all my friends and family. I had a lot of people here that I haven't really seen in a while, and it's kind of chaotic, and I try and kind of stay even keel, but it's hard. So this one it's hard to top. I don't know if, like I said, aside from winning championships, I don't know if this will be topped, honestly. This is pretty cool, and I think this is one of the biggest RedBuds I've ever seen. As a kid, I don't think I've ever seen one bigger. So it's really special, and Tim told me, Tim Ritchie, the guy that they own the track, they said they sold out camping for the first time ever, which means it's a big one. So it was cool to do that this weekend.
Hunter, the crash was big, but you walked away from it. Glad to see that. A, what happened? B, how are you?
Yeah, it happened so fast, and it was kind of weird. Like a lot of things caught me off guard a little bit with, hitting a bump or something, and then by the time my wheels were on the ground again, the bike was completely not directly underneath me, so I was constantly having to react to stuff to fix it. And yeah, it kicked, and then I tried to gas out of it and drop the front wheel into the face of one of the really steep, gnarly ones, and that just like snapped so fast. And yeah, unlike the 250, when the old 450 goes, she bucks pretty hard. So that's, strap yourself in for the ride and do your best to save it. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay. Like, just kind of gave my head a bit of a knock, which all things considering will take. And yeah, it's all good.
To be honest, I thought you were going to save it. For a while, I was like, oh, he's going to save this.
I tried my best.
Dude, it was gnarly.
All right, guys, I think that's it. Congratulations on a great weekend.